Opening day for archery season in Alberta is August 25th. So Jolene and I had taken that week off and we'd headed out to Piers to the hunting cabin looking for deer, moose, or elk. We had trail cameras all over the properties that we had permission to hunt, and we'd gotten some pretty encouraging pictures. One of the places that we were excited to hunt was a mineral lake, about a 45-minute walk from the cabin. We'd got lots of interesting pictures from this lick, including quite a few elk, and both cow and bull elk were open. So we were hoping that if we put enough time down there, we would have a chance. I put up a ground blind down there because the prevailing wind is from the west, and the only trees on the east side of the lick. We have a tree stand in that tree, and we've hunted it a lot of times, but never really had any success. Never seen an elk. Shot one doe out of it, and that was the sum total of our success there. So we were hoping this ground blind was going to be the ticket to getting close to these animals and having a shot at something. Over the next 4.5 days, Jolene made that long 45-minute walk into the stand and out of the stand 2 times a day. By August 29th, she just had enough and decided to make the 10-minute walk to the alfalfa field and try her luck there. That evening, Jolene hunted the west corner of the field and I hunted the east corner of the field. Unfortunately, for the first time in about 10 years, I forgot my cell phone, and that was going to play an important role in the events as they unfolded that night.
It's 5:15, Wednesday, August 29th. We are back this afternoon at the hunting cabin after taking Aaron's buck into Hinton to butcher quickly and do a couple loads of laundry. I must say I'm super proud of my best friend and husband. He couldn't have been happier to get a buck, and I doubt very much there's many full knee replacement patients climbing trees and shooting their bow 6 months post-surgery, so it was super rad to see him happy. I'm making this little interview on my iPhone today because when I went to do it with my video camera, I got a signal saying that there was no SD card. So I quickly texted Aaron to see if there was a solution that I don't know about, and he's not answering his phone, which is a little unusual because we usually check in when we have cell reception to ensure that we're both in the trees safely. So rather than be concerned about his safety, I'm going with the thought and hope that because my dear husband is quite forgetful with electronics, that he's left his cell phone in the cabin, and that's why he's not answering. So I rearranged my GoPro, and I've got it sort of with a point of view towards the field, so at least if something comes in I can get some video with that, provided I've got time to turn on my phone and it works. The other night I heard my first elk bugle when I was on the Ghost Town stand, and so hoping that means there's some bull elk out there tonight.
Well, I was down at the other end of the field without a cell phone, and it's too bad because it was a really easy fix for Jolene's camera. I could have just told her to move the SD card from the B to the A slot and she would have had a main camera. As it was, because I didn't have my cell phone, I couldn't tell her that, and when a bull elk came out about 15 minutes before the end of legal shooting light, she didn't have her main camera going. But she did manage to get her GoPro going. But those cameras just don't perform in low light the way that our main cameras do. This is the trail cam photo of the bull elk that Jolene was just about to have an encounter with about 5 minutes before she saw it. Jolene just has turned her GoPro on because she sees the elk about 15 yards behind her. She slowly takes out her cell phone and actually checks the hunting app that we have to see when the end of legal light is. And at this point, she's got about 15 minutes of light left. There's also a small whitetail buck about 35 yards from her on the field. The bull had ended up standing almost right underneath her for about 5 minutes, and now it's just finally decided to walk out onto the field, except that the shot angle isn't good at all. After what seemed an eternity, but was only a couple of minutes, the bull decided to turn a little bit more broadside, so Jolene quickly checked the time again, and she had about 6 minutes legal light left. The bull moved a little bit more broadside, and with 2 or 3 minutes of legal light left, she drew back. Pretty much immediately after the shot, Jolene texted me of no phone. So I actually didn't get her text until I got back to the cabin. And then I immediately grabbed the quad and headed out to meet her at the bottom of her stand.
It's 12:30 on Tuesday, August 28th. And we just finished a long 2.5-hour search for a bull elk I shot at about 10 after 9 tonight. And haven't found him. At 8:45, there was probably about a 2-point whitetail buck in front of my stand on the west corner, and it was at about 30 yards, and I was watching him for a while, and he kept looking at me, and I kept thinking that he was busting me, and I probably would have shot him had he come closer, but I looked through him at him through my rangefinder and realized he wasn't looking at me. He was looking directly behind me, and I heard a noise, and I just slowly turned my neck, and there was a 5-point bull elk, actually 5x0 bull elk, directly behind me. And I grabbed my cell phone and checked what time legal light would be, and I had about 15 minutes to pull it off. And he watched that deer for a long time, and I was just praying he'd come closer, and he started walking towards the field, and he walked directly under my stand and then stood there again for about 3 minutes just watching that buck. And I had 6 minutes to pull it off, and he stepped out onto the field, and at about 14 yards he turned mostly broadside to me, and I took a shot. And the shot looked good as far as I could see. We didn't have it on film because my video camera didn't have an SD card in it, but my nocturnal went off, so I was able to watch him run through the field, and the arrow looked like it had good penetration, but the blood sign has not been that great. There's periods of really good blood and then not so good blood, and we did trail him through the field and then down into the forest between Fred's Road and the field, and we called it quits at about 12:30. And I'm feeling pretty sick to my stomach right now, and not very hopeful we're going to find him tomorrow because we've completely lost a blood trail. But who knows, in the light maybe that would be easier and we'll get lucky. I sure hope so.
Yeah, I think you shot him in the liver by the blood sign, so I think 100% he's dead. We just have to find him.
Yep, hopefully we find him.
Yep, hopefully. So you can see the pink ribbons. This is where we ribboned out a
trail out to Fred's Road when we stopped searching for blood.
Yeah, when we lost the blood, we just ribboned the trail, but I can see the ribbons where we lost the blood. So we're only about 75 meters off Fred's Road.
It didn't rain last night, so we're hopeful that we'll find some more blood this morning.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of dew. So this is, yeah, I think this is a spot. Yep.
This is where we last found blood.
So,
that's the blood trail there.
So he came from that way, and then...
And this is the last blood we found last night.
And then we did circles and circles, and we were probably here for 20 minutes at least. So, hey, I think I see your elk.
That's my elk! Yes! High five! That is so my elk!
That's gotta be. That's gotta be. Yeah, that's an elk.
Yes!
Don't get up.
Oh my goodness. I walked right up here last night.
So did I.
I missed that blood.
Where?
Right there.
Oh yeah, there's quite a bit there.
Oh.
It's hard to tell if that's blood or not, but...
I think that's blood on that front.
It's pretty hard in the dark.
Oh.
Oh, look at that.
I am so relieved. I felt so sick to my stomach all night long.
So did I. Look at that.
That's not a bad
it's
shot.
not a bad shot at all. It's like a little bit back, so that's where you got the liver. But like I said last night, liver's 100% fatal. You just have to give him some time.
Oh.
Put your bow down and go and grab his head.
This guy's got a good side and a bad side.
Yeah, kind of like every person.
He's not quite...
He's got some sort of deformity there.
We have pictures of this elk over the years.
No, we don't. I just have the pictures from this year. The one that I have the pictures of is, it had a big spike on it. Look at that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
0.
0. 5 by nothing. But I'm not complaining. This guy's gonna taste even better because of the effort.
Yeah.
It's my first bull elk, and I am nothing but stoked and a lot relieved.
Well, 180 from last night. Somehow fitting with all the camera mistakes that were made with this hunt that we'd also lose the interview video that Jolene did. Either I didn't turn the record button on or I accidentally deleted a file, but we don't have any of that either. But after we did take some pictures and do some video, we got the quad in there and brought it back to the cabin. Although we didn't get all the video that we wanted to on this hunt, Jolene was super stoked to shoot her first bull elk ever, and that is quite an accomplishment. She's getting quite a resume, that girl. She's got a couple of bull moose, a bull elk, a couple of whitetail bucks. Super proud of her. Good trip.